You ready to hook some lips, y'all?
Hooking lips!
Hooking lips, y'all!
Yeah, hooking lips.
Randy's ready to hook some hooking lips.
Something.
So this is a bit of a long video, so basically broke it into 3 parts. Immediately will be some bourbon hunting in North Carolina. About 22-minute mark starts fishing in North Carolina with hook and lips, and about 32 minutes is the Biltmore Mansion. Super cool. Hope you guys are going to hang around and watch all of it. Thanks. So down on the ground there they had some Middle West spirits. I think that was a straight rye, dark pumpernickel, which uses a pumpernickel rye, non-GMO stuff. Really interesting, out of Ohio. That's at Jefferson's Tropics, aged in humidity. That is apparently pretty good. They put it on a boat, send it to Singapore, and then hang out in Singapore in the humidity and see, that's what you get. Popcorn Sutton was a legendary moonshiner from sort of around these parts, so good backstory if you ever want to look them up. Blue Run, they make some good stuff, pretty expensive, and I think it's one of those labels that may not be as good as what it once was. Some good old Dickel. Pretty sure the price of Dickel is going up. And that Heat Check, now that's vodka I think, but that's made by the those Hot Ones guys. Yeah, pumpernickel. I've really got to try some of that Middle West stuff. And there's that Whistle Pig camp stock. It seemed to be everywhere, and yeah, I haven't really tried that. It's relatively expensive. It's $72, so yeah, maybe next time. That Woodinville, it's out of Washington State, and looks like it's won a few awards. Possibly Fred Minnick's #1 overall pick, best in show, from the 2024 Ascot. So yeah, it could be something to keep an eye on. Old Louisville, I think I've mentioned that a few times. I've got some really high proof stuff, some hazmat stuff that's fantastic, and got a pick or 2 of those that's really good. And Peyton Manning's Sweetens Cove again. RY3, that is pretty good, especially their cigar batch one. But as far as a rye, that's a fairly good one. And some peerless there. That hand barrel, I don't know, I'd stay away from that. I haven't heard great things, and once again, gimmicky looking bottle. Celtic Honor, haven't really heard much about that. And there's some Jefferson's Reserve single barrel. I had a bottle of that, it's one of the first ones I ever bought. It's not bad, middle of the road, maybe a little bit too expensive. 2XO, that's his cheapest stuff. Rather than the single barrels and the special release. Basil Hayden, Penelope Toasted. That was another one I quite liked for a while, but sort of went off it, you know. I don't know what it was about it, but just sort of went off it. That Saints Alley looks interesting. Looks like to be a bit of a mix of the guy from Iron Root, and he does some, him and another guy do a bit of finishing and French cognac barrels and stuff like that, so it could be interesting. Wilderness Trail's always pretty good. Some Rossville 6-year rye. Good old Macallan. I've always tried to appreciate Scotch, and you know, that's where I sort of started my whole whiskey journey, but just didn't really like it, and sort of found out that I don't really like Scotch. I like bourbon. Just the flavours, the sweetness is just so much better. I hate anything that's got peat in it, but even the completely unpeaty ones like Macallan, just, I don't know, just like alcohol. And when it's peaty, it's like dirt. So it's just alcohol and dirt. So yeah, it's maybe just a bit too delicate for me, and I like the sweet corn. I love corn. I do have a 30-year-old bottle of Glenfiddich that I got when I was 30 years old, so now it's almost 46 years old, so I'll have to open that on my 50th. Ardbeg from, they're really peaty, from Islay, I think it is. There's some of the, that Gem of Kentucky, once again, single barrels, barrel number 66. I've heard really good things about that, but it's $200. And there's some ridiculous barrel. So there's the gold label and the silver label, and they're all very expensive, and they range anywhere from $200 to $500. Just maybe too much of an outlay to for me to give them a go, but I have heard they're great, like 16, 17-year-old stuff, just very expensive. Some Jameson's 18, good old Jack Daniel's Sinatra. That's the bottle that I always said people not to worry about because it was too expensive, but everything sort of caught up to it. That's $179, but you can get that for like $149 in different places, and for a litre of a fairly good Jack Daniel's, that's not bad. A Penelope, Penelope's not bad. I'm just not a great fan of it. And Garrison Brothers, like, I haven't tried it all. I haven't really tried much of it, but the Texas stuff I've tried has just had that Texas flavor that I'm just not a great fan of. It's just like young oak. Very, very oaky for its age, but you can still tell it's definitely not too old. And you can't keep them out in that Texas heat for too old. Now, some of this barrel stuff is good, really good. Batch 35, fantastic. I've got a backup bottle of that because that's great. So I'm not saying barrel's bad, I'm just saying the $200, $300, $400, $500 stuff is too expensive for me. But their normal stuff, their $80, $90 stuff is really worth it. And those guys can make some great blends. Basil Hayden, not a fan. And the toasted and the cask finish, I haven't even bothered to try it. Bourbon Tucker, another one I've never really tried. And Michter's, the standard Michter's, it's always good. It's always pretty available too. Some Old Elk. Old Elk's fantastic. Their cigar cut is pretty damn good. It's also pretty expensive. But their standard run-of-the-mill stuff, they seem to be making a lot more different blends, and they sort of seem to be everywhere. Some more higher end Jeffersons. That's got a history too. You can get some really old Jeffersons, some 30-year-old stuff that came out way back in the day. But now the stuff is not as old, but still really good. Bullet. I got a Bullet 12-year rye, I think I've mentioned, but I've never really been into went to the Bullet distillery, had some samples there, and it was sort of a bit meh. Good old rare breed, Long Branch. Gotta love the rare breed. Russell's Reserve. Russell's Reserve just doesn't. The 10-year doesn't really have the flavor profile that I'm looking for some reason. I don't know why. Some of the single barrels for sure, but just the standard run-of-the-mill Russell's 10 is not my thing. Not too sure what that, or even how to say that blue stripe on there. If you know what the hell that is, leave a comment. There's Horse Soldier and Buzzard's Roost. Buddy of mine, Prater, said to pick up one of those Buzzard's Roosts. And then that Woodinville, right? So keep an eye out for the Founder's Find from Woodinville. Release date coming soon, it says. So that's the one that Fred Minnick picked for Best in Show. So that's got to be good. Some Redwood Empire. Look for the cast strength version of that. And there's that Pinhook again. There's probably 6, 7, and 8 year. And Heaven's Door from Bob Dylan. Murray Hill Club, Joseph Magnus. Nancy Frayling doing some great work out there. Here's the old standard Elijah Craig. Not really great fan of the standard Elijah Craig. I don't know, for $67, it's a big bottle, I suppose, but there's $34. With my palate, I might just prefer to spend an extra $20-30 and get something else. Rare breed, even twice as much, and get the Elijah Craig barrel proof. Woodford Reserve Double Oak. That's just fantastic, right? If all else fails, you can always find that. And some other stuff I have not heard of. Chicken Cock. It's a $60 one, and then Tin Cup. Do you know it comes with a tin cup? For sure. Whistleback 6. That's I've got one of those, and it's not bad. Some cool little gift thing there. Now these guys, Savage and Cook, they actually made that bottle before, so I answered my own question by the sound of it. Looks like they might have like a restaurant and a distillery. So yeah, interesting stuff, interesting bottles, right? But you know what I say about sometimes with the interesting bottles. Good old Grandad 114. That's always a go-to, I suppose, if you're into it. Which I am. That's fine. But it's got that Jim Beam, really Jim Beam flavour that I'd probably pick something else. Knob Creek 9. Good old Dickel 8, yeah. $29.95. That's what I'm talking about for Dickel. So have you heard that there's this other Tennessee distillery? So when you see Tennessee on a bottle, it's not always Dickel. I always thought that meant Dickel for sure, but no. Tennessee Distillery Co. They are just like south of Nashville, and they apparently make everyone sign NDAs and stuff to keep their name all quiet. So anyway, keep that in mind. And some store picks. There was an old elk store pick back there. Looked pretty interesting. Jefferson's Ocean rye. Put that on a boat. And some smoke wagon. So there's a uncut unfiltered, which is quite good, and then there's like uncut the younger or something, which I've heard is maybe not as good. So yeah, Dickel 15. What's that running these days? $60. You know, $60 for a 15 year, $300 for a 17 year, or $500 for an 18 year. Now, age isn't everything and all, but I don't know. I think that's one company that just sort of painted themselves into a corner with how cheap their slightly younger stuff is. There's all the McLaren Jack Daniels bottle. I really wish they would do a McLaren bottle that was something other than old number 7, even if it was just slightly better. Some of the new Widow Jane stuff and some more Jack Daniels. There's that single barrel proof rye. Do not sleep on that. $70, the best shelfer on the shelf. There, I said it. That's 133 proof, man. I always keep an eye out just in case it's a hazmat, and I'll grab it no matter what. Rare breed rye, second best shelfer on the shelf. And we got some Templeton rye, Fisher. What else we got here? Defiant rye. John A.P. Connolly, stay away. Don't go anywhere near that crap. That is borderline paint thinner. I think down the bottom here, you'll see its big brother. Oh no, maybe not. But anyway, disgusting. Anything with Connolly, don't go anywhere near it. The old Whiskey Rose series, that's another. There's some more of the best shelfers on the shelf. 1910, 1920. So there you go. 1910, 1920, rare breed rye, Jack Daniel's single barrel proof rye. Some amazing things you can almost always go and pick up in pretty much every liquor store you can come across. So all that Sinclair, Dalton, Morning Glory, that all comes from this French lick distillery. I don't really know too much about it. Comment if you guys do. Seems to be an old-timey looking thing, you know, which ringing a few alarm bells, but I mean, could be great. That one's got a golf ball on top of it, or a disco ball. There's Oak and Eden, and $2.91. I'd stay clear, especially at $82 for that $2.91. Not for me. Something else that's also not for me: Jim Beam Black Label or Devil's Cut. Nope. Pretty much anything Jim Beam is just not my flavour, man. I don't know. Growing up, it was just not something I drank, and probably when I did drink it, I drank too much of it. So now it's always got that hint of sadness and bad decisions. Seagram 7, never drunk it, hopefully never will. Like, there's 2 people in line at a liquor store when it opens. Bourbon enthusiasts that are going for the top shelf, and the guys grabbing Seagram's 7. That Jim Beam Black, we tried it the other night. We'd honestly drunk a lot of really good whiskies. We did the Four Roses limited editions, 23, 22, 21. So didn't really give it a fair shake, but and we were a little bit drunk. That was over at Homer and Amy's at Deck Night on the Rocks. That should be coming out pretty soon when they get back from Jamaica. Rebel and Green River. Green River is great. And Goat. Hey man, I'd buy that just because the Goat. No, actually I wouldn't, because I don't even think that's bourbon. That's whiskey. And Reaper whiskey. Now I love spicy stuff, but I also like my stomach lining to stay on the inside. So we'll just leave that there. Some more bottom shelf stuff I don't really know anything about. Benchmark, people say Benchmark's really good. I honestly haven't tried any of it. Mellow corn, I've tried that. That's not bad. Now we're back up to their this little funny section here. Oh, what do we got? Keeper's Apple. We get into the flavored stuff. That Southern Star, that is actually some pretty good stuff. I've tried that and it's pretty good. Defiant and Conviction. Don't know anything about that. And there's that Celtic Honor. Feels like we've been here before. Feels like deja vu. So here was a lottery board. Now, not a particularly exciting lottery board, to tell you the truth. You know, we look on there, what would I actually want? Rowan's Creek? No. Blanton's? Not really. Wood finishing series? Depending on the wood finishing series. Pot Still? 1.75? No. And there's some bottles. Yeah, small batch here, it's a small batch. Blood Oath, maybe at the right price. But yeah, no, not a really lottery that I would line up for. Now, I don't know what's going on here with this flashing, so I do apologize. Something with the lights and my camera, but for the next little bit, there's a little bit of flashing that I'm going to try and fix, but I'm not being too successful. Peerless and Lux Row, it's $80 for that Lux Row. Knob Creek Rye 10 year, pretty excited to get into that. Heaps of Basil Haydens. There's that Woodville again, really got to give that a go. Redwood Empire, but not the batch strength. Chicken Cock, zooming through here, but pretty much the same stuff we've already seen. This is actually a different store, so FYI, I'll put the store locations, probably you've already seen that, but this is a slightly different store, I can tell from the flashing. But being North Carolina was ABC, state controlled, all very, very similar stuff in all the stores. So that's one thing with the state controlled. Everybody sort of gets the same stuff, which can be good, can be bad. Smells like communism to me. So coming up here in a little bit, we're going to go and do some fishing for something different. So one of the main reason we're actually in North Carolina is to catch up with a good buddy, Nick from Hook and Lips. We met through YouTube, and he is a fishing guide extraordinaire here in Asheville, North Carolina. So yeah, so we're going out some fishing, do some fly fishing. It was fantastic, such a beautiful area. It was really good. There's that rye, there's that bullet 12-year rye I've been talking about. So yeah, that's coming up pretty soon. A couple of fish that got away, let's say, from me. Some other people caught a few fish, but it's just a great, fantastic time hanging down in the river, nice and cool, not many bugs, good times. Totally recommend it. Go check him out. Check out his YouTube video. Shows you how to like tie flies, and yeah, there's a bit of a fishing tip thing that I've left in this video that I'm sure he'll be fine with. But yeah, absolute fantastic guide, fantastic day. So back to the Bourbon Hunting, the old Woodford Reserve again. I don't like anything apart from the double oak, really, tell you the truth. Zooming through here on the Jim Beam because I don't like it, especially the white label. Bernheim, got a cast strength Bernheim. It's a wheated whiskey, so that's not a whiskey that's got wheat in it, like it's just full blown 51% or more wheat. And here's a good old Jack Daniels and Uncle Nearest, which is sort of like Jack Daniels, and Dickel. This must be the Tennessee area. So there we go. Chemist. Cook's Mill. And there's that Southern Paragon again. North Carolina products. I always like to see, you know, what the local stuff is. Like this Southern Star, for example, that's actually from North Carolina. So Statesville, North Carolina. So I see that quite a lot. So that's one that I should have probably picked up. There's this John Connolly. Like, that's so bad that literally, like that red one, literally tastes like latex paint. And we had to do it as a deer to get in on the last bottle pick. You know, we were drinking all this amazing stuff, Eagle Rare 17, you know, William LaRue Weller, Hazmat, GTS, but to be able to all drink that, we had to take a drink of that Connolly, and I'll tell you what, it almost wasn't worth it. It's not good. So anyway, you have been warned. Some stuff is not good. And we're getting into some of that here, I'm guessing. You know, flavored stuff. So yeah, this is about things I don't know or care about. End of days bourbon. Fucking John Connolly again. Piss off. Here we go. Here's some better stuff. Bardstown. All Bardstown's pretty good. Haven't really come across a Bardstown that I don't like. 2XO, a couple of different flavors there. Like I say, there's the cheaper one, about $45, and then one of their more specially releasey ones for double that. Same with Bardstown. They have that white label and the black label, which is their origin and bottled and bond, more like $45 versus, you know, their normal 100 to 150. All is good, but sort of you get what you pay for a little bit. Some of that 150 stuff can be amazing. 3 Chords and Green River, and the good old Jack Daniels McLaren, but that is just number 7. Just FYI, just old number 7. Okay, pretty much back to where we started, so we're going to skip to the fishing. So here we go with Nick from Hook and Lips, fishing in the gorgeous lake in North Carolina. Fantastic time, fantastic dude. Look him up. Plastered his name and stuff all over here. Coming up.
You ready to hook some lips, y'all?
Hooking lips.
Hooking lips. Randy's ready to hook some hooking lips.
Something.
Take line out, just pull straight out. Snake your rod tip, that will pull the line out, okay? What we want to try to do is we want to try to lift up our indicator and our first fly at least to the surface of the water before we start our cast, okay? That's important. If it's down here and we try to cast, it's going to do that, okay? So what we got to try to do, lift up, and it's really not much to it. We use the the length of the rod to get that leverage. If we don't like our cast, we can just throw it back downstream and redo it. You'll notice I've got that line hooked up behind that index finger. That's very important because let's say we do get a bite. I want to pinch that finger and set the hook, okay? Now when we hook a fish or when we get a bite and I want to set the hook, I'm going to pinch that and I'm going to snap my rod tip downstream because a lot of these fish are facing upstream, so we want to kind of bury that hook into their mouth, okay? If we try to set our hook this way, we have a potential of pulling it out of their mouth and not actually hooking up with them, okay? So reeling a fish in, let's say you catch a fish. If you've got a bunch of slack, let's say you've mended some line or had to pull some line in, then what I always recommend doing is kind of pinching up here, reeling into the point, and then letting go of the line, and in this way the reel has the fish. All these reels have a drag setting, so there's some tension to that, okay? That's adjusted on this side. You'll see a dial, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Everybody should have theirs preset already, but if we hook a big fish, don't be surprised if I'm running over to you, maybe making some adjustments on that for you, okay? We're using very light pound tests, 4-pound tests, so even a small trout is gonna give you a good fight. You just want to be careful, and I say play with the fish a little bit. You don't try to reel it in as fast as possible, like deep sea fishing, you know, where you can just crank them in, you know. We want to kind of play with them a little bit, and I'll talk you guys through that as well. If I know you got a huge one on, I'll definitely let you know. You'll know too, because shit will be hitting the fan. All right, Dave has broke the ice, my man. Another fish down here. Keep that line tight, Dave. There you go, buddy. All right, let's bring him downstream. So keep the line tight, but you got to roll that rod over to me now. Keep it low but tight. Roll it to the left, over your left shoulder. Yes, left shoulder, keep going. Yeah. All right, now drag him to the left, over towards me. Yep. That's a big fish, Dave.
Yeah.
Man, right on. If he wants to run, just let go of the reel and let him go. Don't reel up anymore. Actually, let some line out. Pull some line out. It's a big brown. Dave hooked up with a big fish. That's perfect right there. Just leave him right there. We got to tire this one out, buddy. This one's a big fish. He's got to be about a 15, 16 inch brown right here. Keep that rod to the left over towards me. Yep. We want to pull him downstream out of the current. So you're going to work him over here to this shoreline. Don't pull it too tight. Yeah, there you go. There you go. See that colored line at the tip?
Yep.
Don't pull it in anymore. That's where we want it. All right. Dave, hooking lips, man.
Hooking lips.
Yeah. Nice brown trout. All right, get his chin up to the surface. We got to pull him up. See how he's under the water? I can't see him to net him. All right, yep, that's it. Oh, rainbow, nice big rainbow trout. Yeah, she's gonna gas out and then get her chin up. Keep her chin up.
Fucking huge, y'all. That's a monster. That's Jaws. We're gonna need a bigger boat.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Pull that chin up. Yep.
Oh, you lost it.
Oh! Oh, and now we in the tree. That's the classic.
Well, that's
What an idiot! Oh, what a loser! Good.
pro. Remember that time I caught that fish and Eric didn't, Jen? I remember my fish was bigger than Eric's. Remember that time? That's a good time. It was a good time, Eric.
You had a fish on, but I had a fish landed.
Yeah, but mine was bigger than yours.
Yours was way bigger.
Yeah, that's what she
But-
said. That's what she
But
said.
mine finished, which is also what she said.
Yeah, yours finished real quick though.
Still finished.
Little and finishes quick.
You couldn't finish, and I finished.
Yeah, but mine's bigger,
let's-
so
let's
that's-
make sure that's on record.
Yeah, that's true, but it is what it is.
All right, we're with Jen here. We're hooking lips, rainbow trout. All right, swing it around over my shoulder here. Its chin will come up. Pull him to the net. Yeah. All right. First catch of the day. Hooking lips. Awesome job. All right, awesome. Show off that rainbow for us.
Hey, my little guy.
It looks good. Awesome. Just set it down in the water. Let it swim away.
All right, sorry about that. I hope you're gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Oh, there it goes.
See ya. See ya. Awesome job.
Ah.
Heck yeah. There's some trout here. All right, that's good. Let out some line, actually. Yeah. We don't want to get above the multicolor line. Okay. Yeah. Dave's hung on a nice fish here. That's good. So now, as you start dragging him, he'll come up to the surface here.
Come on, fishy.
Hooking lips.
Good lips, y'all.
Man,
Oh yeah. Oh.
that's got some strength to him. I hadn't seen. Oh, it come off again.
Oh, he come off again.
Dang.
From hooking lips and House Bourbon. Hooking lips and taking sips. Hooking lips and taking sips.
What are we drinking?
We're in a 23 George T stag to successfully drink. Oh,
toast to the
Delicious.
400 fish that I caught.
Best tip I ever got.
Fucking delicious.
That is delicious. Yeah. Amazing.
That's amazing.
Good old
Marmalade.
He did. Oh, it's a video.
Yeah. There's some parts of that I don't remember.
Oh, really?
No way.
Yeah. Actually, check out the other video of Eric Dave Get Drunk Part 2, I think.
Definitely
Watch
check
all
that
the
out.
parts. watch the inevitable decay.
And Hook and Lips, if you're ever in North Carolina, come and check this guy out. He does tours, amazing, beautiful country.
Very knowledgeable, very
Appreciate
patient
it,
with
Dave.
newbies who don't know a thing.
Yeah. Yeah, we actually almost helped Eric catch more fish than me.
Definitely caught more fish than Dave.
We'll check the video.
Had to-
Yeah, we got video footage of it. Proof.
Yeah.
The proof is in the footage.
Actually, I think Jen is the only one that actually videos.
Because Nick hooked up for me.
All right, well, thank you very much, Nick.
Yeah, thanks a
You're
lot.
welcome. Thank you guys for coming out all this way and enjoying the time out on the water. Yeah, it was awesome. Hope to do it again.
Thank you.
Let's do it.
Yeah, so after a fantastic day on the river fishing, we went back to the hotel and tried some of the select stock, brandy finished. Had a bit more of the George T. Stagg 2023 and some Mictors from 2020. So next, this was the next day, we went off to the Biltmore Mansion, which is fantastic, like 175,000 square foot. Built by, who are they? Not the Rockefellers, the Vanderbilts. The Vanderbilts built Biltmore, but look at that. You know, designed to be like a French chalet castle. That's basically an American castle. This place is mammoth. For, I think it was about $80, you could take like a 2-day tour through the whole thing, and it also included this glass blowing exhibition from the dude that blew the glass up in the Bellagio at Las Vegas. But yeah, check this place out. This is the foyer when you come inside, come in the door and you see this. Just the artwork of all the, you know, the facades and the, there's no drywall in this place. It's all like hand carved hardwood, and it a lot of history. And you know, they go over it. You got a little audio tour and a lot of generations of family that have kept this place up, and it's really interesting. This was like the formal dining area with 2 or 3 story ceiling, and look at this big carved bloody pipe organ thing that was ran off some sort of electric motor, because this house was electrified out in the middle of nowhere in North Carolina. And where'd they get the power from? Where'd they get the electricity from? I guess they generated it themselves. Some moose, some deer. Look at all this hand-carved granite and marble. Absolutely amazing. And this is the less formal dining area where one would have the breakfasts. But, yeah, so yeah. Vanderbilt family still around to this day. You know, they're through American royalty, basically, those families that control the world, so they say. It is funny how some of the sort of opulence of, 100 years ago is pretty mainstream. Like some of the details you would never be able to afford now. You just, the artists aren't there to do it. This view is fantastic. But yet some of the stuff, like when you get to the bedrooms, like the size of the bed, it's like maybe a twin. So maybe people were probably smaller. There was a guy up there in that poster there that was Mr. Vanderbilt himself. Looked a bit fancy, if you would like to say. This is his library. Guy was big on reading. No YouTubes back then. Pretty much books. All the books. Too many books. Imagine if he had a bourbon collection. Could you imagine what the bourbon collection of this guy would have been like now? I don't even know if he could have had bourbon, because early 1900s, would have just been getting started down there in Kentucky, and oh man, would have been fantastic. Imagine walking through this guy's man cave. Wait, there's his bed. Look, the guy must have been about 5 foot nothing. So this is where he hung out. separate sleeping quarters as they did back in the day. And this is where they hung out between the two rooms. So this is where he would actually talk to his wife. And this is his wife's room. Yeah, got something to be said. This is their swimming pool. They had to refill this every time they wanted to use it because they didn't have any chlorine. So every single time they had to fill it and refill it. Could you imagine the amount of water? And these are the gardens, like really amazing gardens, greenhouses, and some pretty cool plants. But look at that thing. It looks like it's going to jump out and eat you. But yeah, super cool place. Biltmore Mansion in Asheville, North Carolina. Asheville, North Carolina, really hippie sort of place. Almost reminded me a little bit of like Bend, Oregon, that sort of stuff. And for the south, that's a lot. So anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.